morning, everyone. My name is Linda. I am with Sweet Aria Decor. Aria is my daughter. The sweetness is up for debate now that she's 12. Anyway, I go live every Monday at noon Central for Monday Crafternoons. I love crafting. I love to spread my joy of crafting with others. And so we try to make something different each week. This week, we are going to be making blueberry themed on a grapevine. This should be a relatively quick and easy project, something that even beginners can easily do themselves. I got the sign when I went to a warehouse sale 2 weeks ago, and then I found ribbon that goes with it. So wait till you see the ribbon. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right, so we're going to have the sign. This is a 12-inch sign. This is, I believe, let's measure this grapevine and see how big it is. This is a 16-inch grapevine, 16 inches. This one is doing round. You're going to be adding on some blue leaves. I got these in a wreath supply box from DecoExchange that came last month. I bought these are some blue roses. I got these from Craft Outlet. And this also came from DecoExchange. This is the mixed greenery bush called 60919. We love this bush. This bush is life. And they've got all sorts of different colors. This one just happens to be different shades of blue, which I thought blueberries, blue, works. So it's a nice and simple wreath. So we're going to start, what I like to start with is by putting on the sign. Okay. Now, there's lots of different ways people can put on signs. You can take your little cable tie mounts and you can glue them onto the back. I don't really like to do that if I can get away with it. I like to staple things wherever I can. So if I've got something wood, I will always use my staple gun. But how I do that is I want to make sure that my staples don't come through the front of the sign. All right, so I've got some narrow staples, so they're not too thick, but still I'm paranoid because I have ruined signs. So I like to take the cardboard tube from inside my mesh and I just cut some 1-inch squares and I use 2 of them on each side. And then I need 2 pipe cleaners, okay? Hello. No, they're chenille stems, pipe cleaners, but I use 2 of them. So how I'm going to use this is, first of all, I'm going to cut off the rope in the back of the sign. We don't use that to hang it. That's basically just for kind of storage purposes, okay? And how I want to have this is kind of right here, okay? So kind of right here and here. So it's going to go right in the corners. So top, right, bottom left. We're going to go there. So I got to remember when I flip it over, here we go, using these corners right down here. I want to make sure you guys can see this. All right. So I'm going to squish these flat, okay, because they tend to be a little rounded if I've cut them from the cardboard spool that's in the middle of the mesh. So I just want to make sure they're flat before I try anything. I just take the pipe cleaner. I'm going to put that centered on there. And I'm just going to staple it. 1, 2, 3, because I'm extra and I overdo everything. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing over on the top. All right. They're nice and centered. Looking good. 1, 2, 3. All right. I didn't hurt myself. So far, so good. All right. Now we want to attach this to the wreath. So I'm going to kind of bend this up. These are just going to feed right through the grapevine. So I want to try to start with probably my top one first, just because of gravity. So if I can kind of see where I want this, I don't want to completely have it down here. I kind of want to have it a little more up. This is going to be a bit smaller. I want to be able to see a little bit of grapevine on top and bottom. Okay. So I'm going to poke this through right here. Let's see if it's coming through. And for the most part, it is. I got one through. Let's take a look at the other. Yay, I've got both of them coming on through. All right, I'm going to hold this sign. I'm going to give this a little twist. Now, this is just to hold it. I'm going to come back and tighten this later, but this will help me then not have to hold that sign and I can work on. I want to make sure that this is straight and level. So that's going to take me a little bit to make sure that I get that. I'm good. Here we go. Oh, it's Monday, Garbage Man Day. They always come when I start my lives. I'm glad they did because I had a lot of garbage. Okay. There we go. And this is on the back. So we're checking it out. All right. Because if it's not completely properly aligned, I can always move my grapevine. But usually the grapevines kind of have they've got a space to where they want to hang. Like you can't like force it. It always kind of goes to one certain way. So finding that space is sometimes a little tricky. There we go. There we go. We got it on this one. Make sure this is nice and tight on the back. Twist it more. So I'm just going to keep twisting this. I don't need it this long. So I'm going to snip this off here. Okay. You're just going to push it right back. Boom, boody, boom. Right back into the grapevine, right? So it's not poking out. I do the same thing back here. The back of it. I'm leaving, I'd say, about a good 3 inches or so. And good morning. Hey, Patricia. So Patricia, I got this on Etsy. There's a lot of different places, but if you search for wreath easel or wreath stand on Etsy, they have a ton of different kinds. I prefer the open back ones because it lets me come through and work from the back. But they have ones that are a solid back, but lots of people make them on Etsy. And let me tell you, it is truly a game changer having this one. Especially, I use it mainly for grapevines, but having it up as opposed to designing it flat because, you know, gravity kicks in. And if it's laying flat and you do it, and then you stand up the wreath, sometimes things flop the way that you didn't expect. So I love doing ones on right in here. Okay, excellent. And who else did I see? Leslie. Oh, Beverly. So Beverly, I get a lot of grapevines from DecoExchange. To me, they're always very clean and they're never super sparse. So DecoExchange for me is where it's at. I love them. I know. So my stepdaughter got married over the weekend, which was super exciting. It was in Iowa. I'm in Illinois, so there was some traveling, but I did all her florals for it. And I was really happy with how everything turned out. It was a lot of work, but boy, was it worth it. But I wasn't sure I was going to be live today because I would round be tired. But I decided I got up. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So let's do it. We're going to make a pretty grapevine. So here, that looks a little big, don't you think? Yeah, we're not going to use the whole pieces. So we're gonna snip. Again, these came from DecoExchange. Okay, so I'm going to snip these into multiple pieces because I like to have a bit more control over where everything's going to go. Okay, I do have quite a bit of these, but I don't want to overdo it. If I can avoid having to use too many pieces, I'm going to do it. Okay. So let's see what I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 pieces. Now this one being the biggest one, I'm going to use this one up there. So we're going to do that there. I will put my bow on first, but for right now, I want to do this first. And then I'll kind of put the bow in. That's just the way I feel like doing it today. I'm making up my own rules as I go along. Or I forgot about the bow and I try to cover. What do you think? All right. Try to figure out where do I want this to go. So I'm not going to have the bow in the center. I'm going to have it more kind of up at the top angle. So it's going to kind of come right up this way. So this means this can come out this way. And then like the smaller pieces down here are going to come out down to here. Okay. So that's kind of how we're going to be doing this one. So actually, because see how there's a piece of grapevine that goes angled? If I can get that underneath that, then that just gives it some added security. So I want to go put this on this side of there. So maybe I don't need this much. I'm going to snip a little bit off, but I'm going to apply with my glue gun because I'm afraid of my glue pot. I burn myself and it frightens me. All right. I don't like that though. I'm very honest. That's too far back. We're kind of coming maybe within here, right? Not too much still. I want to do just this. Okay, where I come out here, this can come down. I like that. Not bad. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of where we're starting. All right. I wish I actually would have put it underneath that one. It's too late now. It's all right. All right. We can build this out. I've got lots of this, so I don't have to worry too much about trying to make sure I space it out so I'm not stuck with any empty spots at the end. Let's go up this way. All right, covering that out of there. Gonna do a little down here now. This is kind of like putting the sheets on the bed, right? I mean, it's not the pretty comfort on the top, but it's something that you have to do if you want to, when you're adding your layers, it's one we can't forget. So we've got a blue. I want to make sure this is nice and full. I don't want to have it be too sparse. I've used that word many times today. That is the word of the day, sparse. The amount of food in my refrigerator is sparse. I have to go to the grocery store. I might go when my daughter goes to her theater class tonight. I've got an hour and a half to spend, and I usually spend it in the car. I bring a bowl maker and I make bows. I make just like the value bows that use one type of ribbon apiece. All right, I'm gonna put one more in, and then we'll do the same thing, but going from the bottom up. Good thing tonight I might have to go to the grocery store, because you like to have things to eat, and I'm really sick of eating out. I never thought I would say this, but I'm over fast food. All right. I could always add another one in there should I want to, but let me get another one of these. And again, these came from some DecoExchange. So the tag right on there, DecoExchange. And this is item number FG647519. I need to order more of these, especially with the patriotic season coming. So with the wreath supply box, a lot of times there are extra additional supplies that are left over, so we can order more from there. That's why I like the wreath supply boxes, because, sometimes I just want to know what it looks like before I invest in buying something. So it's always helpful just to be able to see it live and in person before I buy 10 of something, right? Because what if I don't like it? Sometimes greenery looks a little plasticky. We don't always like that, so. All right, I like that down there. Right, still going to cut some of that sides. Let's try my next one. I'm going to right on here. Oh, sorry. Little chokies there. We're going to try to bring it in just so it's kind of around the edge, but I don't want to cover any of the writing this year. Okay, so now I'm going to focus on the outside. I'll cut these a little bit smaller. Boy, I apologize. I think my allergies are acting up. There was definitely some different allergens going on out there than I was used to, because this was there's a lot of farmland around there. No, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I'm not going to die. Here we go. I'm actually going to put this one up there. Sorry, I just found a spot that I felt like needed this, so we're going to go there. I just wanted to fill that out a little bit. It's a little leaf heavy in here, so let's kind of move these around. There we go. I'm probably going to use a little bit more of another one, just because I want to make sure. I don't want to neglect the outside here too, even though I'm going to have a bow put in there. So there we go. Let's do a third. All righty, here we go. Number 3. That will go really nice. Now I'm going to shorten this just a little bit. There we go. Now that I'm making this, we're drying machines. We did have something in the car over the weekend. So we stopped and got munchkins on our drive out to Iowa. And so I love Dunkin' Donuts munchkins. I don't drink coffee. I'm a freak of nature. I do not drink coffee. but I love the munchkins. So I ordered 50 and I didn't realize it's going to come in this giant like Easter bucket. So I'm like, oh, good. Because then I can reuse this for Aria's Easter basket. But they had little blueberry ones in there. They had blue sprinkles on there. So we were very excited. Because like I love anything with sprinkles. So that was particularly cool. I just want to fill out just a little bit more. So I'm going to see what else I have here. I'm just going to cut maybe some individual leaves so I can work in a little smaller area. I don't want to overwhelm too much. Let me set these spots, but here we go. There we go. All right. You know what? I'm going to put this one on the bottom because I don't feel like there's enough down at the bottom here. Let's fill this in right here. There. Now I like that. Now I like it. So the bow is pretty much going to go kind of like right in here. So I don't realize like I need to add too much more, except maybe right down in there on that side if it's bow time. And then we'll come back and add some of the other fingers. Ooh, stubborn, but there it goes. Okay. There we go. I absolutely have to go get more of this. I love that. All right, here we go. All right, so now we're going to make the bow. Let me clean this off a little bit. I like to have a clean workspace. The rest of my house is an absolute sty, but I like to have a clean desk space. All right. Hard to find good ones. It is hard to find the good grapevines. Michael's, I have not had the best luck. Theirs are very kind of thin sometimes. It's okay if it's like, I'm going for some value stuff, but all right, so here I go. Now I'm going to move this all the way over to the side. I do use a bow maker. Okay, I have to use a bow maker because, well, my hands are really bad. All right, I want to make sure you guys can see. All right, I'm going to angle you down just for now so you guys can watch the bow, okay? All right, so I have 4 different kinds of ribbon, okay? You can see I have this beautiful navy blue solid, which I didn't think I had, and I was panicking. I needed something else to go with. The blueberries, look at how that matches exactly. It's like, they obviously they were designed to go together because they're from RG, all right? Perfect. And then these were ones that I got in the Reed supply box. This is a white, and then this is the scalloped edge, or as we call it, the fancy panty ribbon, which I love this in every possible color and style. My favorite. All right, so you're going to make this bow. I'm going to cut off down here where it's wrinkled because we want to start with a nice, here we go, nice area, okay? All right, so what I like to do is kind of take my tail, so figure out how long and what size do I want to make this bow. So I think I kind of want to go, well, we could do some of these, right? We could do some of those, but I don't think so. I think because this is only 16-inch, I want to just have it kind of come down and do its thing. Okay, so I'm going to have this tail. I would say this is probably a 13-inch tail, okay? It's about 13 inches. Now, I am going to dovetail it because I like to dovetail everything to start. So I bend it in half. I put my wired edges together, and I cut angled from the inside outward toward the wires. There we go. Dovetail. Woo, woo. All right. So then, for the maximum loop on this one, I'm going to pull the tail down. I don't necessarily want this to be super, super wide because I don't want to have it start cutting into the letters here. All right, so I think let's take a look at what a 6-inch loop looks like, okay? So that's why I like using a bow maker, because it kind of helps me figure stuff out. I want to take a look at the scale, and that looks good. I could come out bigger, but if I come out any bigger, it's going to stick out past the leaves, and I don't really want to do that. So I think 6-inch is good. Okay, so we're going to do 6-inch loop. So let's pull this down. All right, now I shouldn't have to take it out and measure anything else past here. I just wanted to get a good starting point. Okay, so I put it in here. I pinch and twist, so I see This is the back side of the ribbon. I can tell because of the stitching, and I can see like the wire and stuff underneath here. So that's how I know it's the back side. You got it, Mickey Mouse. Here we go. All right, putting this one back over. This is coming in at 6 inches. Okay, I'm only going to use one loop of each kind. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to cut this little past where I was. Okay, it's a little past where I was because when I dovetail it, it's going to match. It'll be very close. Pretty close. I don't know if you can see it, but trust me, it's close. All right, we've got that solid out of the way. We are now going to move on to the one I have been waiting eagerly to use, and that is the beautiful blueberry print. I'm actually saving this plastic from around these because when I make my wreath kits, sometimes I have 50-yard spools, and I will wrap 10 yards onto an empty spool off of that, so then I can just wrap it with that. So when I tell you I save everything, I literally freaking save everything. Just why my place is a disaster. All right, I'm going to start off by dovetailing this one. Okay. Now, I like this to be about 1 inch below what I had before. So let's take a look. I'll put this through, and this it's about a good inch or so above from the end of here. Okay. So that's probably about 12 inches. Pinch and twist. Okay. So I've got the icky side over on the other side. Try it now. Because this was 6 inches. Uh-oh. My live is Creek Road Designs. Hello, Creek Road Designs. How you doing? Okay, I'm bringing this in. I'm going to make this one 5.5 inches. All right. Just a little bit thinner because we don't want these loops competing with each other. They're supposed to complement each other, lift each other up like other women are supposed to do for each other. Which most of us don't do. But that's okay. All right. So now on this one, I do have the option of I could put this tail upward, but I think I'm just going to keep it going downward because sometimes I'll have tails coming up. But this one, I want to have more of a traditional looking bow. So I'm going to have it come down. I'm not going to do any upward tails. Okay. So as I trim this one off and then I dovetail this one, that should be a little bit, slightly long. I'll give it a haircut. Just give it a little trim, a little off the tops. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take those other 2 ribbons off of here for a second, and I will hold up the bow. You can kind of see where we are at with it. Okay. So this is what it's looking like so far. Okay. That's what's going to be there. Now we're going to add our 1.5 inches. Okay. So let me see. I may have to actually end it with the white one because I think it's a little bit narrower than the fancy panty. So we're going to go fancy panty next. Fancy panty. I'm just going to cut this plastic. And this looks like it is a DecoExchange exclusive. Designer Wreath Supplies. DecoExchange RG0886925. Look at that in all of its glory. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is more of a royal blue. It's not a navy blue. But that's okay because there's lots of different, there's a darker blue in here. There's a lighter blue. So we're okay with that. And I could decide to put to curl these and have these be curls. But I think that would be a little too fussy for a round wreath. So I am just going to dovetail this. Okay. I'm going to dovetail it. Do you see how the scallops, I want to kind of have it come out there. I don't want to cut there. I want to have it just kind of line up. Because then the lace looks nice. It doesn't look like it's awkward. Like me in junior high school. Man, I was in junior high school. I graduated junior high school in 1987. If I can tell you, my glasses were enormously huge. Huge. Because it was the 80s. And I looked like such a dork. Because at the time I was skinny. I know, hard to believe, right? Me skinny. Yeah, but I was. But I just looked like such a dork with my curly perm and everything. And now I got older and I aged and I went back to enormous glasses because I'm trying to minimize my chins. I don't know if it's working, but it's kind of funny. The things we do in our youth that come back to haunt us. All right. So this one I'm going to have this one be a 5-inch loop. Okay. 5 inches. 5 inches. I'll pause. Now I'm going to come down. Now, again, it's a little tricky because I got to make sure that I hit it where the scallops kind of seem best placed. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm just going to trim it down to the end. And if it looks a little weird, I can just kind of snip off with a scallop. And there we go. Okay. So you'll notice that these are kind of complementary angles, right? If it's down on the left, it's up on the right. If it's up on the left, it's down on the right. All right. And I'm trying not to cover too many of the other different elements on here. The loop needs its own time to shine in the sun. Shine your loop. This little loop of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little loop of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. There we go. Now we're finishing off with, this is like a weave kind of texture, but I gotta tell you, this ribbon is the quality. Look at the quality on that ribbon, right? Look at the wire. It's nice, it's stiff. This is going to be a great topper level for us. As I stab myself in the foot, good thing I'm wearing shoes. All right. All right, about an inch from that. So yeah, we're kind of ending it around 14, 12, 11. This is about 10 inches. All right, pinched and twisted. All right, looking over here. And then we are going to go this way. So that was 5 inches. This is going to be, we're going to do a little bit less. We're going to do 4.5. Because I think I might end up putting a rose bud in the middle of this bow. Okay. So make sure this is about 4.5. Perfect. Otherwise, I would have made another smaller loop in the middle. But we are going to try to add that in, yes. All right. So here we go. Cutting that off. Doing a little snippy. All right, there we go. Okay, so I am going to use, because this ends in white, I'm going to use a white pipe cleaner to wrap around my bow. Okay, bringing this up, pulling it all up. Here we go. I'm going to wrap this, take it on through, wrap it around here. I'm going to put it on my chest. I'm using what I got. I'm just going to wrap it nice and tight. The tighter you can make this, the better. You can also use a zip tie. All right, so I'm going to hold it here. Now, I'm going to move this to the side, so hold on. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to change the camera angle so you guys can see what it looks like when we come back up. All right, here we go. You're going for a ride. Hold on. Whoa! All right, perfect. There we go. All right. Now, right now, it looks a little flat. We need to fluff it up. It needs a loop job. Okay, so we're going to just kind of pull these out. Again, this one actually needs to be opposites that way. There we go. All right, got the white, got the blue. All right. And I'm also trying to pull the loops down kind of a little bit closer toward each other. There we go. This is harder to do when you're on camera than it looks. Okay. Pulling this down, but see, they're all going the opposite side on the other side, right? This is going to be really pretty. Now, the other thing I want to do too is make sure I run my finger down all these wires. That's how it gives it like that really nice curl to it. Work the wires. Work it, girl. Work it. Own it. Oh, do that bow. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not a supermodel. All right, so here we go. So that's going to end up going right into here. Size. One side. I'll bring it up and to the other. So I'm just literally feeding the chenille stems right through the grapevine, wherever I can get a good spot to have it come through. Sometimes it's easier said than done. But it's okay, I've got two ends. Yay! All right, now I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to make sure I like the placement first. I do want it on a bit of an angle. Just going to come in, help you up a little bit. So again, I don't want to have anything in the words. All right, I like it. We're going to tie it. We're going to just twist it nice and tight. Okay. I've twisted it in the back here. See, I've twisted it, and now I like to just cut it so they're even. And then I can just poke this right back into the grapevine. And there it goes. All right. We're good. Looking good. Let's play a little bit with this. Now, I am going to have to be a little careful when I'm trying to put my florals in here now. The one thing that I will say is going back, if I had a blue that had a white pattern on it, I probably would not have gone with the solid blue because there's already a lot of blue here. But I think once I get some of the greenery in here, these loops will end up popping a little bit more. Okay. I don't know why it's not letting me watch my live video. I can't see anybody's comments now. Are you guys still there? Can you let me know? Are you still there? I hope y'all are still there. I think you're still there. Yep. Okay. Excellent. Alrighty. All right. So here we go. We got the sign. We got the leaves. We got the bow. Now, we do have these to add, but before we do these, we have to add in our greenery. We're adding in our stick 0919. Oh, gosh. All right. You know what? That's why, because my iPad's out of storage. Well, screw that. Sorry. You go back in. Get rid of that. All right. Sorry. Give me just a second. I apologize. I'm so sorry. And now my Wi-Fi isn't working. I don't know why. Every time I go live, something's up with my Wi-Fi. All right. Fan has to go on. I'm sorry. All right. Well, unfortunately, I am not able to see anyone's comments or anything. So I do apologize. So I'm going to have to check on my phone. If you guys leave me comments, I promise I will go back and answer them when I'm done. I swear. Okay, so this is 60919. It is the mixed greenery bush. It's got all sorts of goodies on here. And there are basically 3 main pieces to this. So I know for sure I'm going to cut this one off because if I put it up here like this, it just kind of sticks out a little far. So I'm going to keep possibly these other 2 together. But I want to snip off this back one, this top one here, okay? I'm going to snip him. All right. Now that is a little long, so I can snip it in. It's very long. Here we go. So the key is separate everything out. Don't use it just as it comes. This little piece is always at the top, and I always like to just give it a little curl. Here, brings it down a little bit, but bring this up. Like, it should have depth to it. You don't want it to be flat. Look how much more full that is. Okay, we're pulling that all out. This is going to be the piece that we're going to kind of do like right here. Okay? So I'm going to bring in this back. Frustrating. Still trying to mess with that. Sorry. I got the glue. Got the glue. Okay, boom up. And we're going to try to find where to go with this. I think we're going to go right in here. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now these, if I put them here, they're going to be at the same spot. So I'm going to separate these out. I'm just literally going to pull it right off the stick. Okay, it kind of comes like this. I like to then snip it nice and even. And then again, we're going to cut this out a little bit. Sure, separate these. I like to have this little thing in the back kind of go between these. Bring this out. Oh, it's so pretty. Love this. Oh, it came back up. Yay. I think I can go back in. That's safe. I think it's going to work. All right, so I'm going to glue this now. I'm just going to add some glue. If it were really not staying together well, I could have added a pick to this to make sure it stayed, but I don't think I needed to do that. Okay, this one's going to kind of go in there. Perfect. And then now this one, we're focusing on the extra paper. Not all of it, just a little extra. Trim that. Ooh, it's fluff it. So here we go. And add more glue. You can use a glue pot. I'm just afraid that mine's going to burn me. I'm afraid of it. It frightens me. So I'm a big wood, so I'm going to stay right back here. Using my bosom. All right, pushing this in here. There we go. Oh, that looks so, so pretty. I'll make sure to try to bring it around to the side here, okay? And then we have these blue roses that we're going to put in here as well. But oh, wow. This is looking pretty. I do want to make sure that these do not cover up the words. The bluer the better. The bluer the berries, the sweeter the juice. All right. All right, so for now, I'm going to actually take my tails and kind of like, I want to roll them up a little bit because I don't want to get any glue on these as I'm putting in the other piece of 60910. So let's do this one really fast. I'm just going to pull this apart, pull apart, pull apart. Okay. Slip and slip. All right, and then the top, which I'll put down at the bottom again. All right, clean as I go. Here we go. All right, thanks. Air out our greenery. Like the airing of the grievances, the airing of the greenery. All right. So I'm going to put this one. I'm just going to do a dry fit for now, kind of look for a good spot for it. And I think kind of like right in here would be really good. Yeah, so it does kind of come down a little bit past these leaves. All right, so now I'm going to go back in and add a little glue. There we go. This is so exciting. I was so like out of sorts not having my wreath supplies with me over the weekend. I came home and opened my garage door and I saw all the ribbon and stuff staring at me and I was like, oh, I'm home, baby. But I did take, because I like I said before, I did my daughter's floral, or my stepdaughter's florals for her wedding. So I did a lot of Ling's Moments pre-made stuff because honestly, I could not make anything that beautiful for that price. So we've used Ling's Moments before and they're fantastic. But I wanted to add some stuff to it. So we had some extra florals that we got from Facebook Marketplace, extra florals left from my other daughter's wedding. She had some cream colored stuff left over. We used that. But I had my glue gun. I had like snips, scissors, duct tape, U-pins, everything you could think of that I could possibly need, I brought. Okay, now this one I'm going to try to put right up in there. Okay. There we go. Hold these down. And then this last piece, you can see we definitely need to fill in some right over here on the side. So let's use this last piece for that. But this really does go very far. It's about, if you don't catch it on a sale, and then they have sales all the time. So you got to, keep your eye out, sign up on their app. You can get a lot of great stuff. There is a link. I do have an affiliate link to DecoExchange. That's in my link tree. If you look in my profile, it's out there. But I'm not showing an advertisement for them right now. I'm just telling you this stuff is sweet. We'll love it. We're going in on the side here. All right. Pushing it in. There. You can see this. Now bring that out a little bit. Find some of this up. Because we don't want to be able to see, okay, there was one piece, there was two pieces. We want it to all look pretty and cohesive and awesome. Okay, here we go. There's that blue. So see, now these blue loops, before they were kind of like getting lost, but now they look perfect. Now they're perfect. Okay. So now our last piece is putting in these blue roses. I did say before that I wanted to put one in the center. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just going to add some glue right onto this. I've got the stem about, you can use like 1.5, 2 inches. And I'm just going to put it right here and rest it on the top of the bow, but it could kind of go into the greenery here. So it's going to just kind of sit right here. I don't have to squish it in too far. I want to make sure it catches on the bow, which it did. But I love to do this with my bows. I just add a little sweet center. I think it's really pretty, and I like doing that. All right, so that stem can go. We have a lot left on here, so I like to push up. I like to push the leaves up as far as I can. I'm gonna use all the leaves. I want to get as much green out of this as I can. So for this one, I've got kind of a, what is that? About a 4-inch stem on this one. I'm gonna try to start out here and kind of work in a little bit. So I do like to bend this just a little bit, right? Just so it's not sticking that way. I want it to kind of look out at us a little bit. Say hello. Good night. There we go. Perfect. I do want to double check, make sure that didn't come out the back, and it did not. I just want to bring this back a little bit too, because we want to make sure that feels a little filled in. Okay. Okay, so that came out there. Let's go and let's do another one. Uh-oh. My nose is dripping. I don't want to say it. I think I might be getting sick. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, there we go. All right. I do want to mention, while I am live right now, my friend Liz is, she's with Wild Wing. She's Wild Wing Creations, right? Wild Wing Wreaths, okay? She is going to be going live on Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Go check her out. She's going to be making these gorgeous, they're like lace lanterns. Like you take doilies and then you can use like Mod Podge and then make lanterns out of them, like for weddings and whatnot. If you are available, please go watch her, because it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful creation. And with wedding season coming up, it's definitely timely for sure. Okay, now I don't want to have them be exactly all in a line. It just kind of end up sort of being that way with here. I'm going to go put another one a little bit taller up, kind of coming out back here, because I don't want it to be, we don't want them to be in a line. That's a little too symmetrical. That's not my jam. Then it looks fake, even though they're fake flowers. But we try to go back here. So I can put in a few more guys in here. How are you going? Or do you not want to go there so much? All right, it didn't want to go there. It was like a really, really tight spot, kind of like trying to get between me and my Spanx to the wedding. It was just really too tight. Too much information, Linda. Keep right in there. This one just does not want to go. You are a little Mr. Stubborn. Oh my gosh, have you been talking to my daughter? No, I don't like that. That's not strong enough either. I have to make sure that it's really well put between two spots. I'm going to move it back a little bit. There we go. It was just hitting some glue that was already there. All right. Good enough. Go up with that. Maybe I could put like another one down in there. Okay. Yeah. I do that. I will like that. I'm going to leave the stem longer, so that way it can really kind of come out at us, not be too tight. There we go. A little bit more, and there we go. Oh, beautiful. It's a nice, gorgeous bloom too. Love it. You need to come up though. There. Because again, we don't want people to not be able to see that it says the word bluer. There. All right. Now I'm going to come down. Start the other side. Now again here, I want to be careful. I don't want to put a lot underneath where the tails are going to go, because that would look a little weird. So we're going to start by trying to put something kind of coming out this way, right? We want to be able to see a little flower. And this is kind of a long stem, so I might have left this one too long, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. No, I like it. I like it. Looking good. All right. I'm going to kind of put one coming out. So this one's going to be like between the ribbon tails. This is going into the butt crack of the ribbon tails, everyone. The butt crack. That is the official. No, it's not the official term. But then I kind of want to turn it on a little bit of an angle, okay? So we have to have some under there, but just so we know that there's a rose. But that's not necessarily going to be like a focal point, right? I want to work on the outside next. Let's fill some in over here, okay? I'm just going to dry fit this one for right now. Figure out where this could go. I like it kind of coming down a little bit more here. Okay, perfect. That's why I left that one nice and washed. We're just like that. All right, so we have 3 left. So let's see where I want to go with these. Definitely want to put one out toward the side, okay? So we've got lots of space here, okay? I feel like we need something kind of filling right in here. I could take a little bit off. Right. There we go. Another one. We try to put here. All right. See if we've got one there, one there. We definitely need one right here. I'm going to go in. It helps to separate the leaves with my hands because I don't want to get any glue on the leaves. Oh, I want this to come up. So let's go for it. Quiet. All right. And then the last one I would like to put right in here. Okay, just right in here. Making this stem longer initially. You gotta see how far we want to go. All right, cutting off about yay much. All right, doesn't have to go all the way through the wreath, just enough where it's really gonna grab at it really well. Perfect. All right. I am loving it. Let's do a final work. Make sure everything is good spots. Spread this greenery out a little bit more. So getting our glue snot, our little glue strings, right? Got to get all those out of there. Fixing our loops. And height. Bending yours up. Okay. Let me take it off the stand and bring it around. And we can just going to take a look. Okay. All right. So here is the final wreath. Here we go. Here's a nice close-up of what we've done. Here's that bow, that in the middle. Annie, Pat, Ross's Unique Designs, Leah, thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. All right, so this is our finished creation today, guys. I'm going to have this listed at sweetariadecor.com. That is where I have all my finished creations, but I'm also going to be selling a whole bunch of wreath kits where you can make wreath kits yourself. I've got lemon ones. I've got lots of, I'm going to have 4th of July. We're going to have some Christmas ones and some fall, and especially Halloween. Everyone loves Halloween. All right. Thank you guys for watching. This will be backed up onto my YouTube channel under Sweet Aria Decor because things get deleted off of here after 30 days. So please go check that out. Subscribe to my channel so you make sure you don't miss any of the fun. And I'll see you guys back here next Monday at noon Central for Monday Crafternoons. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. You can follow me on social media and shop my items at sweetariadecor.com.